Well, value added, can go both above and below the point of production. D. Howard Doane wrote Vertical Diversification in 1950 and brought this idea to the world that you can diversify below the point of production, i.e. Your own genetics, your own seed stock, saving your seeds, growing your own fertilizer, making your own compost. That's below the point of production. And then above the point of production, of course, is turning it into a higher and higher value for the retail dollar. In other words, instead of selling corn, you sell cornmeal, and then you turn the cornmeal into cornmeal muffins, and so you diversify that way. And so for me, value adding can go both directions. It can go either above the point of production or below the point of production. You can add value either direction.
Yeah. And I think so many folks are just beginning to scratch the surface of what we can value add, because value added doesn't mean that it's more work. Sometimes just thinking about something in a new way.
Absolutely. I remember well the year that we added parts and pieces to our chicken. Mm-hmm. We were like that proverbial calf with all his four legs locked up. You're trying to pull him across the corral. Yeah. And you can't do it. And that's why we don't want to cut chicken. I was like green eggs and ham. I do not want to cut it in the house. I do not want to cut it in the shed. I do not want to cut it for anybody. I will not cut up chicken. And when we finally did, the first year we offered it, we made an extra $20,000 without growing another chicken. And so the actual labor requirement to get that $20,000 extra was half the time to get $20,000 selling chickens.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So it's thinking differently is what it comes down to a lot of the times. And I think you said something else right there is giving the customers what they want.
Yeah. Most of our value adding is not stuff that we sit around and, do focus groups and come up with. It's actually listening to customers. What are you interested in? What do you wish you had? Because the quickest way to increase income is to turn a $100 customer into a $200 customer. The hard part in marketing is getting, hurried, harried, frenzied, frantic people to stop at your venue, whether your venue is a website, a farmer's market stand, an on-farm sale venue. The hard part is getting a person to stop and take a look at you. Once they buy, they quickly are looking for leveraging their stop. That's why one-stop shops like Walmart, where you can go and get your oil changed and diapers and bananas all at the same place.
Yeah,
that's why that works, is so folks can get that one-stop shop. So if we can offer, as farmers, we want our customers to be totally dependent on us. We want them to think, man, if you go out of business, I'm going to die. Our family's not going to have anything to eat. We want that. We want that persona in our customer base. And so the hard part is getting that customer initially. And once you have that person, well, what else can I get here? That's their next question.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, we've talked about value added, what it is, and why it's made such a big difference. But let's talk a little bit about these farmers who maybe they're just a corn and grain farm, or maybe they are, as you said, raising birds, and they're just not sure they want to start cutting up. Why do we need to be doing this in addition to what we've already just discussed?
To me, one of the biggest whys, and there are lots of them, but one of the biggest ones that I think people can get their heads around very quickly is so you get the retail dollar. So there's a dollar. Well, that dollar is divided into basically four components: production, processing, marketing, and distribution. And different commodities, some things are different ratios. Beef returns probably the highest to the farmer. Wheat probably returns the smallest to the farmer. So anyway, so it's some, but for sake of discussion, let's just assume that production, processing, marketing, and distribution each get roughly a quarter of that retail dollar.
Yep.
As a farmer, if you're not getting any processing, distribution, or marketing in from that dollar, you're only being able to get a quarter of that actual value. And the production leg of, if you think about a stool, that production leg is the one that's subject to the farmer's four horsemen of the apocalypse. Mm-hmm. Alan Nation used to always talk about this. My mentor, the four horsemen of the apocalypse for the farmer are weather, price, pestilence, and disease. That's what every farmer leans up against his pickup truck and complains about. But when you move your income dollars over into those middleman areas, processing, marketing, and distribution, the grasshoppers don't eat the tires on your delivery truck. The drought doesn't stop the internet connection you have with your customers. Fungus doesn't grow on your stainless steel processing table. As a farmer, the more dollars I can take in from processing and marketing and distribution, those dollars become fairly insulated from weather, price, pestilence, and disease. That's a big deal. And to me, that's the single biggest why to proceed with this. It stabilizes your farm income and spreads you across less risky components of the food system.
Yeah, it's spreading that risk. It's Now, I think another point to make just to that point is farmers inherently work really hard. They're out there just producing. But if they can spread those into other aspects, that's going to save their bodies, save their knees, save their backs, give them a little bit of variety in their job instead of just growing production.
Well, sure. I relish being outside, but I also relish being outside, sweating, and then coming in for 2 hours and doing desk work.
Yes.
Talking with customers. And so I think if you can just think of this as I'm trading this income component for that income component, and often the hardcore production component is the least return to labor. If I can substitute some less strenuous or exactly like you said, use some different muscles, use some different things in this other, then it not only makes more variety in my life, but it also, adds to my physical. I'm not pushing myself right on up to the end every day.